We are live on Aavegotchi DAO YouTube. I will drop that link for you here in a sec.
Nice. Do we have the schedule for what we'll be going over tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I'll drop that right now.
Hey there, Bobcat. What's up, man? Nice
Bobcat
selfie.
was on our live stream the other day. It was kind of cool from
Nice.
Consensus.
Rocking the sweater.
Oh, nice sweater. Here's the schedule. So we will be talking about this today. Let me just clean this up a little bit. It was actually not letting me post this in the chat. I spammed the chat
Right.
like
I saw. Yeah, the word
Oh,
airdrop is banned in this Discord.
okay, good to
So
know. That's hilarious.
I was not online when I woke up and saw it in the
Okay, let
logs.
me remove that word right now, actually, before it.
Yep.
Yep, let's see.
Or I could post it, but I guess we could do that too.
That's all right. Here we go. So that's what our schedule is here today. I'm just going to grab the YouTube link real quick here for everybody. Get you guys signed up. Or subscribed, I mean.
We'll call them air droops from now.
Air Droops. The Air Droopers. This is the live stream right now if you guys want to watch there. Otherwise, I will you know what? I'll try sharing. I'll share the document here in the chat also, but that's going to be like a third streaming source, but that's okay. We'll try it. But if my computer is like too like laggy, I'll just share the doc link with you, and then we can all work through it that way. But I'll share my screen here, and we'll get right into it here. GM all 16 people. All look like hardcore Aavegotchi DAO members. I feel like there should be a badge if you attend like every DAO meeting for the whole year or something.
Seriously, yeah.
You should get a POAP for that.
Well, Thrive Coin sounds like it would make it pretty easy to do something like that.
100%. And that will be part of the schedule today. So let's go to this. Let's go through the schedule here real quick, and then we'll get right into it. We got quite a bit to talk about with proposals today, and just the nature of things coming up, like rarity farming and ThriveCoin and DAO And so today is going to be a little bit of a lighter meeting. I'm hoping we can even end off a little bit early today because lately we've been going right to 2 hours, and I don't think we'll need to do that today. So. Schedule for today is a proposal review. There were two proposals. I also wanted to just get some feedback and review. I went through the forums last night and I collected some what I thought were some of the most relevant opinions for each, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit. And regarding Strategachi, if Bin Laden is here, I'll get him to see if he wants to speak on it. Otherwise, we can also table that one for next week. After that, we got Coder Dan. You went through the XP airdrop claim page briefly last time, but I know some friends might have left by that time because it was kind of like right
Yeah.
near the end. So maybe we can just go over that, and if there's anything you need to add there, we can do that as well. The DAO Foundation establishment confirmation. There's been some, there have been some concerns this last couple weeks of like, is the DAO Foundation like officially established? Where is that at? And just kind of wanted to get the confirmation, or at least know the state of where we're at with
Yeah.
the DAO
Happy to give an
Foundation
update on that.
formation. Like, if there's anything else we need to do regarding that, we should maybe just come up with a plan, And regarding the DAI itself, we still, as a DAO, need to figure out what we're going to do with all that DAI, because the whole reason why we turned the bonding curve off was, uh, well, it wasn't the whole reason, but one of the risks was the DAI risk inherently. So we might want to continue that discussion and see how we want to handle those assets. We won't be doing that today. Today we'll just be discussing just the DAO Foundation establishment and just make sure we're on the right path with that there. 8:45 to 8, we'll talk about rarity farming, kind of continuing the conversation from last week. I read some opinions that have stacked up since then. We can talk about it a little bit and kind of get some sort of a consensus on this one, as well as maybe a little ideation on future ones if we have time for that. 8 to 8:20, we got ThriveCoin coming up. Just thank Aavegotchi and touch on their recent proposal that they've just put through the DAO, a SIG prop, which is exciting. And so we'll hear from them there. We'll have, I think, Senate and or Thrive Giraffe come up and join us there. 8:20 to 8:30, just a little sign up session for me. If you guys have not signed up for DAO Lens, I will help you get signed up. And I just have a few ideas I wanted to get out there regarding the future of DAO managers and, where I stand with what I'm doing with these meetings and moving forward, how I could see a path where we could have a bunch of different hosts involved and make this a little bit more open to the community. But I'll bring up some points there, and then 9:40 to 9, there was going to be a presentation from Awkward AI on community POAPs continuing from last week, but I think he's going to wait till next week to do that. So we might end off like 8:30, 8:40, hopefully. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into the proposals, and let's look at the newest proposal, and let's talk about some of the old proposals. Ooh, you're dropping some alpha. Awkward. Oh, follow up to last week's topic about POAP design contest. I'm just going to read through this real quick. First off, thank you for the warm discourse on the subject. After talking with people, I realized that most want a POAP pipeline but are concerned about getting stuck in the proverbial mire in regards to keeping up with minting, publishing, and production. Of course, exactly. AI was mentioned as a pathway between an automated pipeline and a way to combat production fatigue by AI minting en masse. You're thinking about all the right things here. As far as an AI pipeline, that would be behind the scenes effort until the pieces are in place for the proposal. In the meantime, I think the contest is modifiable enough to accommodate an AI element. I've had some time to take all this into account, and my newest take at the proposal would be this. Vote options. Establish POAP design contest, no changes. Pay out 1,000 ghost and 5 fake cards. Okay. Establish POAP design contest with an AI pathway. Regular contest as stated above, but a second contest for people to make AI POAPs that would be voted on a Discord channel, and then the AI generated POAPs would be used to supplement where needed, either during a tradition to an AI pipeline or between. Design contests payout would be reduced to reflect workload with a payout of 5 ghosts per approved POAP. If a cap is 50, it would be a total of 250 ghosts rewarded. The exact details will be ironed out and in the discussion. Yeah. Awkward, do you have a link to the discussion for people that want to continue and provide their feedback? Very interesting stuff, sir. We'll keep an eye on this, and looking forward to hearing from you next week. All right, let's get right into the proposals here. We got a new proposal, and I think this was put out there just after our meeting last Sunday. So ThriveCoin, thank Aavegotchi. They are launching a 3-month Thank Aavegotchi pilot to reward valuable contributions to the DAO with Ghost and on-chain thank you notes. And we will have the ThriveCoin team up here as well to touch on this later in the call here. Just want to quickly touch on the proposal. Implement an automated, scalable on-chain system protecting against bad actors and bots. Testing 3 different reward formats in 3 consecutive 1-month sessions. So a raffle-based, a per contribution, and a rarity farming style. And then at the end of the pilot, the community will vote on the preferred rewards format, and if approved, continue the program with the winning format for another 3 months. And so currently, the SIG prop is sitting at 55 yes and 45 no, with 6 out of 9 million quorum met so far. And I've also looked at the Gotchi Vault vote, and the consensus there is looking really positive. So overall, I have a good feeling about this, but we will also talk to the ThriveCoin team later, who will be able to address if any questions, concerns, anything else specific to the proposal. So next up here, this has been a big topic of discussion for a large part of the week. Being in the Aavegotchi community, running shows almost every day, you get to hear everyone's opinions quite frequently, especially if it's something that people are really excited about. And so I think for the large part, our community was really excited for this proposal. And so this proposal did not pass, even though it wasn't by a large margin. And so it was a little contentious. Let me go back here. For some reason, let's go back to proposals. So we had 57% saying no and 42% saying yes, with double the quorum. So there's a huge turnout for this vote as well, which it's rare that we see the 18 million quorum vote. And so I just wanted to talk about some of the strongest opinions that I saw, and honestly, almost all the opinions were quite positive. And so if you have an opposing opinion, I really encourage you to write in the chat, like write your reasoning in the chat, because I'd love to know. Oh, my mic is kind of
maybe it's like the gain is too high. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of will cut out a little bit, like little stutters. Like it sounds okay, but
I'll just move the mic closer to my Okay. Does this sound better?
I'll have to talk a little bit more to hear.
Okay, sounds good. All right, here we go. So I looked at some of the, I just looked through the forums last night to gather some opinions here. And, a lot of people agreed that this is a low cost relative to other initiatives that we've looked at. So, I'll even bring up like ETH Denver. It was quite a ambitious initiative. It's quite a large initiative, but this is a longer running initiative and still at a fraction of the cost. So I thought the value was really there. Easy and fun talking point with a branded sailboat, like whether you're a small holder or a large holder. And, I'll invite T-Bird. If you'd like to come up here, sir, you're welcome to come up here. Otherwise, I'll kind of continue running through with these points that I know some really good positive points that were made. But if you would like to speak on it as well, you're welcome to do that. Just put your hand up there and I can get you up. So yeah, it's whether you're a large holder or a small holder, I think it's a pretty cool talking point that your project, your DAO, was able to fund this sailboat and actually like market it like it's a community-led marketing initiative. And so it kind of supports passionate community members, right? Like T-Bird, one of the most OG community members, went to consensus. Like the DAO didn't send him to consensus, or like, we didn't compensate him or anything from the DAO. He just went on his own volition, repping the Gotchi gang, and really just help represent our project, And he did that, without even really telling the DAO about it, which was awesome. But community members like that need to be recognized. And so this isn't just a serial marketing effort where we're giving an ad agency $7,700 to wave a flag. It's a little bit more than that. It's a lot more than that. It's empowering a community member to further push the initiative that they've been pushing since they joined. So there's also potential here to attract a lot of wealthy boat owners in future NFT bull markets. It's just the right positioning in the right place. You got people that have capital, which is gonna, honestly, as times go on, it's gonna be harder to find people that outside of our space that are willing to just dive in and spend a large sum of money. There'll be certain people that want to do that. There'll be certain people that will maybe want to, like, a lending effort, or one of our other avenues that Aavegotchi has available might be something they pursue. But to get people buying large amounts of assets and really investing heavily into the protocol, I think these are the right type of people that you would want to see this sort of marketing. And then, of course, someone else had mentioned a really good idea about social media exposure through photos and content, and I totally agree with that. I think there's a huge, potential here to do a lot of great content with this stuff. I see T-Bird on the stage here. Welcome up, GM.
Hey, GM, everybody. I just wanted to say thanks for having me up and continuing this discussion. I really appreciate it. I feel a little bit I feel awkward, like that this has been pushed so hard for so long, and kind of back here to square one. But I hate to push on it more because it's already didn't pass. So, but if people want to continue to support it, I am like all aboard and down to keep on. So, and just to note that I did get compensated to come up to Austin by Pixel Crafts. So
okay. Awesome.
So that's clear. Yeah.
Perfect. No, I mean, I appreciate you clearing that up. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
But like you said, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in our community that are really excited about what you're doing here. And I think there is a way forward. Like, just talking to some people in the community, there might be a way forward. And I'm going to put this out there and see what you guys think. So some community members were saying maybe we could open up could either be like a blank wallet address, could be one of the Gnosis safes, but have a way for community members who would like to see this proposal come to fruition, give them the opportunity. And I know this is a time sensitive thing for you too as well, T-Bird, so we can't, we probably don't want to take too long doing this, but if we had a open window, even if it's a couple days, for friends to donate to the Ghost Ship, to the initiative that you've laid out here, and then we still go forward with the DAO proposal, we resubmit a SIG prop, except the DAO will only cover the portion that's not covered by the community, and so we can allow community donations, and whatever the shortfall is there, maybe the DAO SIG prop can cover that instead of the whole amount. That could be an alternative there.
I think those are great options, and yeah, I'd really appreciate it. Another chance to get some votes. I know it was really close, and it seemed like the SIG prop passed with quite a bit more support. I don't know if that was just for people voting to get XP, to get it upgraded to core prop or whatever, but yeah, I was a little confused. But yeah, I mean, I hate to push the issue, so I really appreciate you guys speaking up for me.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I think this is something the community is like, man, we need to make this happen. So we'll make it happen one way or another, man. But I also want to respect your time, and I know it's a time sensitive issue. Like, realistically, how long do we have to kind of like get the sale together so you can actually start using it? Is there some sort of like a window that we need to be mindful about?
Like May is probably my busiest month, but I stay busy through September, so it's not like we have to get it like immediately. Like, I already went like almost a year without it, so um,
Okay.
definitely would have helped on a lot of trips having that sale out. But yeah, I just if it happens, it happens. That's great.
Yeah,
I don't.
totally.
It's not a huge rush, but
Hmm.
yeah, time is important for sure.
Yeah, Dr. Wagme wants to see a live interview from the boat. It's gonna happen, man. So I just wanted to touch on this proposal. Let everybody know. I really did kind of go through all the well, not all the comments, but a lot of the recent comments after the proposal, and there's just been a lot of great positive sentiment. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of rare. It's rare. It's rare that we've seen sig prop pass and core prop fail. So uh, again, if there are any strong opinions around this, either DM me, or of course, let one of us know. But like to address anything people have concerns about. Just real quick, something that some people had mentioned, T-Bird, that I think they're just suggestions, but if this proposal passes, could even make this even better. Is to someone had suggested a call to action or a website for better lead generation. I think what they're trying to say here is like a web page for the ghost ship. So if somebody wanted to go like check out the ghost ship, you could point them there. I don't know, but I think you probably do already have some sort of a web page and stuff, like some basic, you know.
Basically, I just have like a Twitter, I have a YouTube and a
Yeah,
Twitch, but I really haven't put anything on there because I didn't want to just like throw up content with no images of Aavegotchi
exactly.
assets or anything like that. Otherwise, it's just some dude sailing talking about the NFTs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, totally. Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
the sale and yeah, I would love to get like you know, I don't want to make promises, and I definitely would like to have some content to show before I ask for like any, you know, support for
For content.
content funding or
Yeah.
anything like that. And I just want to make it anyways. And but yeah, I just need the sale, and I've already, like I said, got some skin in the game out of the pocket. I spent like $600 probably on these big logos I want to slap on the DAO and on the boat. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think the sale is going to be mega,
Oh
and
yeah.
will definitely help me onboard and get content that's going to translate into lens posts and hopefully some live streams and GMI media. You know,
Yeah.
definitely love to broadcast from the boat on a DAO call one of these days. So
Oh man, that would be so epic if we can get you up
I do
here.
have quite a bit of trips like right during this time window
Yeah.
during the summer. So I could possibly do like a DAO call on the boat one of these days for sure.
And that would be really cool because like I would love to see people coming in here to the Dow call just to see you on the boat. Like maybe they don't even care about what I'm saying. They just want to see you hanging out on the boat. I mean, I'd welcome that 100%.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, maybe, I'm never going to be in Texas. I'm never going to be on that boat. But I think it's a lot bigger than that. The possibilities of getting the boat out to Miami and other places around, that's definitely a possibility. So, like I said, I don't want to make any promises I can't keep or say I'm going to do stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to definitely help.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Big potential here. Not a whole lot else of like big feedback. Like it's just like positive vibes. Honestly, just looking through the chat there. Not just this chat, but the your forum post as well. There wasn't anything like overly like you suck or anything like that. Wasn't anything. There wasn't anything bad in there, and so I think we should just let's just do a revision of the proposal. And I'm happy to spend some time with you if there's anything we need to remove or add. I don't think there really is, but we could probably just add in that clause and maybe add a address for friends to donate to. And so whatever amount gets donated to that address could be just subtracted from the 7,700 amount, and then the DAO would just cover the difference of that. that could be a way to move forward with that and
Yeah,
kind of
and like as far as like a call to action, like I have a little flag that goes off the back of the boat, and I could put like an 11 by 14 good size like Aavegotchi logo on there that says like Aavegotchi or like play Aavegotchi or verse, you know, like a app, a website or QR code or something that will be flying all the time because the sail will be rolled up when I'm not sailing. But like a cheap 11 by 14 flag, I could have a couple of those and just throw those up all the time so people have a little bit more idea like, hey, take this call to action.
yeah, that's an amazing idea, honestly. That's awesome. Yeah, okay. So that's that there, and I think the last point I wanted to just make is even if the DAO partially funds this, you know, let's say we get overwhelming community support and a lot of people kind of donate into that pool, uh, I would, yeah, I would want to see the DAO at least pay for some of this because I just I don't know if it'll be the best look like on our DAO if like the community had to come up and scrape up all the funds because the DAO was too cheap to pay for it. Like that's just not. I just don't think that's a good look. And it's just such a small amount of money that it would be so beneficial to the DAO to do it, and kind of not a good look for the DAO to not do it at all. So even if we partially funded it and said, well, you know, the community raised $2,000, you know, through donation, and the DAO covered the rest. That sounds great. But then to say, you know, the
Yeah, I
community
definitely
scraped
could
up
get
all the
over.
funds because the DAO kept turning down the
Yeah,
proposal, it's just not a good look, man. It's just we've spent more money
yeah,
on things that have done way less for the DAO, and that's kind of where I see it. It's not the amount of money; it's more the principle of supporting people like yourselves that have been hardcore OGs, honestly, and are just like spreading the Gotchi gospel. We just want to help you out and make you even more effective at what you're already doing. So, uh, you know, let's just have an avenue open for the community to donate to this if they want to support this cause. Let's also get the DAO involved to make sure that we can get our name on it, because if we don't, it's just not going to be a good look. That's it. That's all it is. We're still going to talk about it, but people are going to hear that and be like, what? Like your DAO didn't give them any money? Your community had to scrape it all up together? I don't know. That's just my thought. That's completely my opinion. But, you know, I appreciate you coming up here, speaking on the Ghost Ship, and there's
of
a way
course. Thank
forward
you.
here. So,
Yeah, the boat could make it to Europe. I just got to switch over. Like all the electrical stuff's all different over there, so I don't know how that would work. But
yeah, absolutely.
I saw somebody in the comments. Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, sir. I'll just quickly move through the rest of the proposals here. I did end up allocating a bit more time to proposals today. So we have Agip 79, Forge 2.0, request for funding. That one had passed. So that one's good to go. I don't think there's anything further we need to do there on our end. Agip 80, fund development of Strategachi. This one did not pass also. And if Bin Laden is here, I'd like to, yeah, I might get him up next week. So maybe we won't get into this one too much, but I'd love to get some feedback on this one. If you guys have specific things that that could have been improved, or, you know, obvious concerns you had with this proposal, we can definitely bring that up here. But I'd like to give him a chance also to talk about his proposal, if he would like. Just gonna read the comments here real quick. Yeah, I see McCallum saying more active campaigning during prop timeline. Absolutely. And we're happy to help you. Like, there are definitely people in the community, Thrax, McCallum, myself, Goobs, that are happy to help you with your, you know, help push your initiatives a little bit, especially if it's a sick prop going through the DAO. Yeah, more of us should do this. I agree, Thrax. If you believe you're in your prop and knows who's voting no, you can absolutely campaign, ask them why. I love the ThriveCoin approach that they've taken lately with their proposal. They've looked at the addresses, they found the individuals that voted no, and uh, it's not a negative. It's following up and saying, is there any way we can convince you to say yes? You know, is there something that we can resolve, a concern that we can resolve? And so that's the way that goes. Yeah, speak to them. It's half the time a poor understanding of the proposal that made them vote no. Exactly. Yeah, Musashi saying people are just fickle sometimes, you know, saying they're going to vote for something and then voting no. That happens as well. Dr. Wagme, I also voted for this, but we need to respect the DAO votes. The ask is very clear, and I don't think it's a lack of education or understanding. Back to the question of whether we are a protocol or a community first. If we were a community first, this is a no-brainer. But it's clear large stakeholders don't feel that way. Join Can the boat make it to Colorado? Yeah, I don't think it's one or the other, honestly. I think we have a community and we are a protocol. I mean, it's not, you know, it's pretty obvious we have a community. I mean, we're not just a protocol. It's not, everything's not just transactional. I guess it's more, yeah, I don't know. Just reading the comments. Musashi. Well, hopefully we're all voting for better of the overall DAO. Well, I mean, whenever you hear anything in favor of rewards, the vote's always really strong because it benefits the individual directly. And so maybe there's a lack of understanding. There could be. It's hard to say there isn't, you know. Yeah. The protocol is a tool. That's the way I see it. It's a tool to help you exchange value. But it still needs a community to actually have substance. If there's no community, there's no user generated content. There's nothing really. So I think the community is the core of what we're doing here. The protocol is a tool to help transfer value, you know.
Yeah, Dr. Wagme had a poll in the Discord the other day asking people, is Aavegotchi a community first or a protocol first? I think overwhelmingly all the active people in the Discord at that time voted for protocol first.
Okay, interesting.
Of course, that's doesn't necessarily mean it's representative of everyone in the community, but of
No,
those
that is
active
interesting
people
for
in the
sure.
Discord at that time.
Mm-hmm. Just scanning the comments right now.
Are we going to talk about the Strategachi or just go on to the next?
I think I'm gonna move on. I'm just gonna give Bin Laden a chance to actually talk about his proposal. I'm not gonna start giving feedback and pulling opinions if there are things he might disagree with or have things to say on it. So I'm gonna table that one for next week. I'm glad we got to touch on the ghost ship. We'll move on here. We'll move on here to the next one. ThriveCoin, thank Aavegotchi proposal. We already talked about that. Let me actually go back to my. Oh yeah, we got the coder Dan. So we got the XP airdrop claim page. I'll share the link with you guys here. Maybe we can just go over this real quick.
Yeah, sure. So this is the new system that we're rolling out for claiming XP. Instead of sending it as an airdrop for every proposal, it just with the network instability these days, it's very difficult to send out these large XP airdrops, and also costs quite a bit of Matic for us to do. And it's just not really a sustainable system that we can automate very easily, which is kind of what we're trying to do. So XP can come out much quicker at like when the moment a proposal ends. We would love to be able to just enable people to claim XP for it. So this new claiming portal is in kind of alpha mode right now. There's currently 2 proposals up they were both SIG props that have not had their XP dropped the old way. And so we're just, going through and giving everyone time to find any bugs and make sure everything is working for everyone. So if you haven't already, definitely go on and try to claim some XP for these 2 proposals and let me know if anything does not work for you. It does take about 10-20 seconds to load everything, I think, for these, maybe quicker, depends on your internet. So it should be pretty quick. But yeah, let me curious to see if anyone's still having issues after we did patch a few things last week.
And so someone should be able to claim their thing right now if they just connected their wallet.
Yep. Yeah, if you have a wallet that you haven't claimed with yet, it should show up here. Just remember, you got to put in your. Right now, you got to update the URL manually with your address.
Gotcha. Okay, this is good to know. Has anyone tried this yet? Oh, Floor Sweeper is asking about the 100 XP votes for turning off the bonding curve.
Yeah, we've been focusing on getting these out, so that'll be coming pretty soon.
That's okay. Cool.
Well.
Awesome. Troy is asking, would you prefer we a ticket?
Yeah, ticket's fine.
Okay.
If you make a ticket and then feel free to @me, and then I'll add other team members and bring them into the ticket if we need to make some changes. So yeah, basically what this is using under the hood is Merkle tree, and it is fairly expensive, especially if you have a lot of gotchis. But when gas is also 10 times higher than it usually is right now, so kind of sucks either way.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw Umami saying 1.46 Matic to claim 60 XP is the code as optimized as it can. There are some things we're exploring to try and optimize it even further. But yeah, we're pretty confident it's fairly optimized. I mean, Merkle trees can be kind of tricky to work with, especially when you have a lot of gotchis that you're claiming for. So especially for the vault, it's a little bit tricky for them, but it's doable. We wanted to make sure that it at least works. And then later when we get to Gotchi chain, obviously gas won't be as much as an issue over there, so it should be easier. But for now, while we're still on Polygon, we'll have to just deal with the high gas for now.
Mm-hmm. We're going. Yeah, Chair, good point. Where we're going, Ghost is gas, so that'll be nice one day. I just
if we don't claim XP, it will stack up. Yeah, if you don't claim it, it's just gonna stay there. So waiting, this is on chain, so it'll be there forever. You'll be able to claim it whenever you want.
What happens if you like transfer a gotchi, sell a gotchi, and you haven't done that?
Yeah. So the way this works, anyone can technically claim XP for anyone's gotchi. So if you say that you had a gotchi that you owned and you voted on a proposal, and that proposal, there was an XP airdrop made for it. And then before claiming that, you sold your gotchi or transferred it to someone else. So the new gotchi owner will be able to claim XP for that gotchi for that proposal. it'll show up on their UI just like it shows up now, but it won't show up for you, the original owner.
Okay, interesting. See some more people.
If you have any errors, yeah, let me know if you have any errors. This was pretty sure it was working last week. Any XP probably will need to be claimed for before we go to Gotchi chain. We still have to figure out exactly how all the voting is going to work, because Snapshot doesn't really support multi-chain voting at this moment. So even after Gotchi chain is live, we'll probably still have voting on Polygon for a while until we've migrated the voting over as well.
Yeah.
GBGGG. We will still be doing manual XP airdrops for things like the Aragon votes and anything that is not a snapshot vote. But for the snapshot votes, all the XP will be through this system once it's working smoothly. If you guys have any issues, please, if you could go over to the support tickets page and just make a ticket there. We'll have the front end team look at those tomorrow and try to help out with that. And make sure that you, probably what the issue you might be having is make sure that you update this URL where it says that address. You need to change that out with your address. That's probably what maybe you're not doing that. You're probably looking at this address here. So that's one possibility. Make sure you change that out. Cool. Yeah. And any feedback would be appreciated. This is still very alpha. We're gonna improve the UI and try to handle any edge cases, and still waiting to hear from how the vault wants to handle this, whether they want to just handle the XP claiming them like manually with a script, or having like a UI on the vault side, or extending the UI here on the V2 site. So we'll hear from them. I'm chatting with Bearded about how he wants to handle that.
Yeah, right on. Awesome. Is there anything else regarding airdrops?
No, not at the moment.
Alrighty. We'll move on here to the DAO Foundation establishment. So what's where are we at with this DAO Foundation? Is it established? Is it official Cayman entity at this point? Or are there specific things the DAO still needs to do? The reason why I ask this is there's some concerns, I guess, from signers specifically, that they're signing, these fairly large transactions, and they want to make sure that, they're doing this under an established entity. So, where are we at with the DAO Foundation right now?
So the last information we have from Ross is that there were basically we're in the last stages, but we've been there for about, I think, a month at this point, and there's apparently 2 members that he's still handling the KYC and doc updating for, and that is apparently the last blocker that he's got to getting this done. So Jesse and I are, we're in contact with him and letting him know that this needs to be finished up as soon as possible. Not really sure. We're not asking for the KYC information directly, so I'm sure he's in contact with those individuals that have their docs still outstanding.
Okay, no, that's really good to know. And we do have some signers in the chat in the meeting here. And so amongst yourselves, I think it's wise to have a discussion amongst the signers and make sure that all the KYC is being handled appropriately and is being done. If that is the last step, then that's basically what you guys need to do just to get established there. Okay. I see Lost Local is requested to speak. Or I thought. Yeah, if Lost Local, if you have something to say on that, feel free to come up. But yeah, Choina, here we go. Let's try and get you up here. Coder Dan, can you see Lost Local's hand raised? I'm not able to get him up there anymore for some reason.
Oh yeah, I
It
actually
won't let him
can't.
join the stage.
Maybe
Yeah, Lost
try
Local, you
again.
might have to just leave Discord and come back. Hop in and out. Yeah, not sure what's going on with that. Yeah, so Lost Local, if you want to speak, I'll get you up here when you're back. We can move on to the next topic here and touch on rarity farming and continue from last week's discussion. And so there was some talk about involving the forge as part of this next rarity farming season, and kind of want to see how people feel about that. I've had some people reach out to me and give me their opinions on this. And in general, it's also a larger question of how do we envision rarity farming moving forwards. There's been talk about making it seasonal and adding things like a trait-based leaderboard, adding more vertical mobility, adding luck and randomness. There's been some really good ideas, and so I kind of want to hear from the community if there are specific things that we see first of all being implemented at this next rarity farming, and B, in a general sense, how do you see rarity farming moving forwards? Just looping back to Lost Local real quick there, wanted to let the DAO know they were extremely well represented by tbird.eth at consensus.
Nice.
Just let some people type there. So in summary, there is a new smithing category being proposed as part of rarity farming, which in short could support burning alloy and maybe the wearable floor, and suggests also finding more supported rewards paradigm for rarity farming in general. There were also some concerns about timing and refilling the rarity farming pool, just given that the DAO isn't really making any sort of revenue, but is handing out large sums of money every couple months, just really to just give it out. I mean, there's really no there's we're not really accomplishing anything really with rarity farming, in my opinion. It's just it's a payout, just giving asset holders a payout like a dividend. But I think we need to think a little bit bigger about it. And I like where people's heads are at with making it a little bit more gamified, maybe adding other categories or trait-based leaderboard. Um, with the Forge specifically, some people had mentioned it's still very new, and the Forge team just got a huge disbursement, and so it felt a little strange for some people to have the DAO disperse this huge amount of money to the Forge, and also now include this as a part of a new category for rarity farming. Some people want to still see the Forge produce, large volumes of sales. And I'm kind of concerned with this rarity farming. If we do go seasonal, that our runway as a DAO is going to just get shorter and shorter as we keep moving forwards. If we are just primarily a value generating protocol, then that's primarily what we should be doing first, is generating value. If we're not doing that, then maybe there should be some discussion around a base reward for rarity farming plus a percentage of revenue that the DAO's made during that quarter. And so there's a little bit more of a performance-based approach there. And so if the DAO is not making any revenue, then we can still have a rarity farming. It'll just be a skinnier rarity farming. We can maybe make it more gamified and make it fun to make up for that. But I think we should be really, mindful about how much money we're spending on rarity farming. I like where Action's head's at, honestly. Make rarity farming 15% or whatever of the treasury, then it lasts forever. Absolutely. If the DAO's not generating revenue, the percentage will stay the same, but the amount will just get smaller and smaller. And so there has to be, in my opinion, there has to be something that's incentivizing us collectively as a DAO to actually actively explore ways to make money. And if we're just expecting free money to rain down from the air every 3-4 months, we're not going to be that hungry. That's the reality of it. When people are getting an expected reward every 3 months, they're not going to be that hungry. That's just the truth. And if there's a drive to say, well, our next rarity farming season is going to be even smaller because we haven't done anything to generate additional revenue, like real revenue, then we'll just have a smaller rarity farming. And I think this is a serious discussion to have. We kind of bring this up every rarity farming, and then it gets glazed over, and then we just go ahead and just do it. Like, where's that one? Did we ever refill that pool from that one rarity farming where we took, what was it, like 1.5 million ghost or something? It was a large amount of ghost, and we said we were going to put it back. Did the DAO ever refill that pool? It's something I'm personally concerned about, as an asset holder and being in this community. We're gifted with a very large treasury in a bear market where a lot of projects are almost dead, and we could really make a big difference with that money. If we're just giving it away, there's going to be a short-term good feeling that everyone gets from that, large holders, small holders alike. But it's not going to generate anything long term. It's not going to generate any tangible value long term. So rarity farming was really great in the early days. It was getting quite a lot of attention. When we do rarity farming season on socials, it was almost like a marketing effort. People would see you can make crazy amounts of money on your asset, and you can come in here and hold this Aavegotchi and make your money back just through rarity farming and competing, dressing up your gotchi. I'm not seeing that. I mean, the last rarity farming season, there was hardly any talk about it. It was just kind of like an expected payout that everybody got. There was no, there was some, but I mean, there wasn't a huge, push on social media or anything really. So I have a hard time just understanding why we're giving so much money away and then, we're giving it back, not away. To the people who funded everything and stuck around. So Acteon, I guess what you're saying there is, yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to know, just in that first part of the statement, how much of that ghost rarity farming reward is making it back in. I mean, that would be a very useful piece of information to have. Is when we spend money on rarity farming as a DAO, how much of it is making it back into the assets? And I agree with you. If that's the case, and 90% of everything we're giving out during rarity farming is making its way back into the ecosystem, then I agree with you. And I also think your second point there, if there's nothing substantial in 2 or 3 years, I mean, in 2 or 3 years there might not be anything left if we just keep doing these rarity farming seasons the way we do them.
I've always thought the difficult part with rarity farming at this stage is that new people coming into the ecosystem are not gonna view it as super attractive because they might have to spend a large amount of ghost on an asset, and then I mean they're gonna own that asset, but if they're gonna look at the ROI and say, oh, it's like I might spend 100 ghosts, I'm only gonna get 5 ghosts for this asset. In this round of rarity farming, which is I mean that's 5% ROI, so it's going to be attractive to a certain person, like type of person, but they also might wonder, like, is the underlying value of this going to go up or down? They're not really sure, so they probably will just stay away. Like, it's not the amount of investment. It might not be something you could recoup or like as a guaranteed thing. So I think we want to ensure that OGs in the community don't feel like there's rules being changed. At the same time, we have to have ways that we can incentivize new people to come in and like get a taste of the Aavegotchi experience as well. So a lot of people are not going to be turned on by the idea of like rarity farming in its current state.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
rarity
Lost
farming
Logo.
is kind of an umbrella term for all the rewards you can earn with Agotchi. So it doesn't. The current version of it is one version, but I think there's other ways that we should be exploring what rarity farming actually means.
I mean, just even that the name itself, is it going to be rarity farming moving forwards? It sounds like we might be moving towards maybe protocol rewards, and to Dr. Wagme's point there, I do get that there are VP, asset holders that have large amounts invested in this. They've benefited from rarity farming. I think that is a major benefit to rarity farming, is being a large asset holder. Those are the people that benefit quite well from this. I'm not saying that we should take that away. I think that's a huge incentive for large holders to come in, but what I'm saying is we should also be making sure that there's lower rungs where people feel excited to be a part of this. And I don't know if, like you said, someone new coming into Aavegotchi, if they're going to be sold on rarity farming when they have a small amount of capital. Maybe there should be some asymmetrical way to get involved. There should be some vertical mobility.
Yeah. If a new person came in and people are going to look at this and say, well, the DAO currently isn't really making money and they're giving this money away. They're going to look at it and say, there might be this rarity farming season for 1.5 million ghosts this month, but how long is that actually going to sustain if the DAO is actually not making money? If the DAO did have a cash flow and a percentage of that cash flow were being allocated to the rarity farming in some way, then someone could look at that and say, oh, like they're actually making money and kind of giving that out to the holders. That's actually kind of interesting. So there, it's almost like how new people will view that as well.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, take that equal amount of rarity farming that we spend and apply it to anything. Like if you took that money and Aavegotchi DAO paid someone who's like really like a growth hacker or an expert in marketing, if we paid someone that money, and even a fraction of that money, and this is kind of totally unrelated, but I'm just saying, look at the size of that money that's being paid out. If Aavegotchi DAO took that money and did something equally, you know, took that money and let's say paid someone who, like I said, growth hacker, could we grow the protocol bigger and faster doing something like that, committing that amount of capital to something like that, than giving it out, you know, so frequently and in such large amounts? It's just a global thought discussion about how we should be thinking about funds. Like my worry with Aavegotchi DAO is, you know, everyone gets so excited about making money and getting that payout, and everyone's going to vote yes, keep yes, yes, yes on that payout till there's no money left, and then we'll be left as just a DAO with a very small treasury, and we won't even have the capital to grow, you know, to grow on our own anymore. That's my worry. That's my concern. I'm just going to read some comments here, and you know,
For what it's worth, I do think there is a solution to this issue, and it's actually something we're thinking a lot about, and we'll probably have some discussion on that in May.
okay. Well, I'll just follow that up with, I love what ThriveCoin is doing. I love what a lot of the community, the community ideas we've had lately with like Immaterial mentioned Gotchi Battler, which I think that's a conversation we'll have here in the future. There are other games. There are sandbox experiences, the sandbox experience that the DAO funded. There are things that we have done, and so I don't want to make it sound like we're just giving money away and not thinking about the other things. We are, but I just think we should be cognizant of this. Like as we're doing every rarity farming, be like, all right, we're about to spend this much money. How are we going to make it different than last time? What is the end result? What is the objective we're aiming for with this season of rarity farming? And let's look back at the end of the season, and then we'll have that measurement. You know, we'll have a measure of how successful it was. So what is that ruler? What is that measurement to say this rarity farming season was a success? You know, not just saying it was a success because everyone got paid, but saying it was a success because we achieved, as a DAO, we achieved X thing this season. But those are just my thoughts there. Happy to continue the conversation future weeks. I'll just read a couple of last comments here. I agree with Floor Sweeper. DAO must strive to find ways to grow DAO funds instead of burning it. But again, I will also follow up with, we have deployed capital effectively towards initiatives before too. Users get rewards and most goes back into the ecosystem though. I mean, I want to see that data though. I mean, someone else said that too, but we need to get that number and actually confirm that that's what's happening. Paying someone to come up with mechanics better than their whole DAO is going to be hard to do. The cash out. Yeah, those are the serial entrepreneurs or serial growth hackers for sure. When I polled the community, it's very clear that we're protocol and participants expected return on their assets. This is very different than other projects that consider themselves a community first and don't expect a return on their assets. I mean, that's like saying, you know, there'll be a dividend that gets paid out. And, you know, when I look at a company paying out a dividend, it's because they had nothing better to do with that money. That's honestly why a lot of companies pay out dividends, is not only to incentivize shareholders, but because they really have a lot of cash flow. They just have so much cash they don't know what to do with it. or they don't have anything to invest the cash into, you know. And so they either do a buyback or they pay out a dividend. That's how I would compare it, but that's just me. And so, you know, in paying that money out, I'm just saying we should be mindful about it. That's all.
Also, we should stop using words like dividend and buybacks, because not only is Ghost not a security, Aavegotchis are definitely not a security. They're just NFTs.
True.
So let's not use the word dividend anymore as a community, because it's not.
That's fair.
Unless you guys want the SEC to come in and look at this community. I don't think we want that, right?
No, we want Gensler to stay the hell away from us.
So let's not use words like dividend.
For sure.
Especially in the public chat, unless, you know.
Yeah. No, that's a good PSA there, just to be mindful of that as well. The language.
Really, what it is, it's an airdrop.
Airdrop, yep. Absolutely.
And that's one reason we've never said that rarity farming will be so and so times. You know, it's not going to be every quarter, because if it's every quarter, that sounds like a dividend. It's not.
Well, is that something we should talk about then? Because we're talking about seasonal rewards, and so that will be a regular timed thing. I mean, would that be I don't want to push us towards a regulatory risk either, if that's going to be the case. And maybe irregular is the way to do it, or situational.
It's definitely a gray area.
Yeah.
It's definitely a gray area.
I love what McCallum just said. Milestone triggers based on protocol revenue or protocol success. Like, let's come up with some great milestones as a DAO, and let's celebrate them with the rarity farming season. Like, I'd be all for that.
The way to get away from that kind of talk is by tying it more to effort and skill.
Yes.
If you're actually involved, then you kind of earn those rewards instead of just holding something and receiving them.
Yeah. Well, I know ThriveCoin's coming up next, and I know they've been thinking and have some great ideas, and maybe could even chime in on this in addition to their proposal, their Thank Aavegotchi proposal that they got out right now. I'd love to transition over, and if ThriveCoin is available, Thrive Giraffe or Senate, I'd love to get you up on stage and give you guys a chance. GM.
GM, mic check, mic check.
You are live, sir.
No, we can't hear that. Okay, will you? Okay.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Great. Senate is actually over from Austria.
Okay, I was so confused there for a sec because you were muted, Thrive Giraffe, and I'm like, how is he talking right now? Okay, this makes sense.
He's staying with my family. He's, so he's like an uncle now to my 1-year-old and 5-year-old. It's pretty awesome. Cool. So I'm going to speak on Senate's account, but this is Daniel. This is Thrive Giraffe, and I'm one of the co-founders of ThriveCoin, and obviously one of the people behind the Thank Aavegotchi proposal that we've been co-creating with a ton of members of our DAO. And for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure you do at this point, it's a very simple proposal, right? Like, you deserve to be thanked, you deserve to be rewarded and recognized for the contributions that you make to the DAO. And when that happens, we believe that you'll contribute more. And the impact for the whole community is going to be greater utility, greater efficiency, and greater value created for all of us. And the Thrive protocol that powers all of this is the first of its kind. We auto-validate any of theoretically millions of ways in which you could contribute to the DAO, but practically will be hundreds to start. We can then auto-reward your contributions with Ghost or with other tokens. Auto-record.
Ooh, I think they just got rugged.
Heard the word auto-record and then...
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're back.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good.
And then we can auto record all of your contributions on chain in a way that protects against bots and bad actors. And we've implemented the same protocol with a ton of success with Bankless DAO and with ApeCoin. Just to give you an idea of how much success we can potentially have together, we publicly launched with ApeCoin less than a month ago, and they have 500% improvements on what they were previously having on their governance, engagement, and participation. So the impact that we can make in a short amount of time is really, really insane. So the proposal, as a lot of you know, has been up for vote for about 6 days, and it's looking good so far. And I personally just want everybody here to know that I'm so grateful for your collaboration with us, your belief in us, your belief in our opportunity to, hopefully be a big support to the DAO. And I also want you to know that whether you vote for or against this proposal, if it ends up passing, we've got your back, and we will work our butts off to honor you, honor your valuable contributions, and to learn from you, so that we can do better for Aavegotchi DAO each month. And that's also why we've reached out personally to so many of you. We believe really strongly that this project will be successful, ultimately because it reflects your desires, the desires and the values of the community. And just because a few people have asked a couple times this week, I want to go over a few changes that we made before we put the final proposal up on Snapshot. And we made these changes based on feedback in our Discord calls, like this one, and also in one-on-one conversations. So the first change is that we decreased the pilot length from 6 months to 3 months, which cut the pilot cost in half. And the second change is that during the pilot, we're going to get to experiment with 3 different rewards formats in 3 different kind of 1-month seasons. And so the first season will experiment with a raffle format. So each contribution that you make to the DAO will earn you raffle tickets that will raffle off at the end of, all kinds of prizes at the end of the season. The second season, each contribution you make will earn you some Ghost. And then the third season, you'll be rewarded effectively in rarity farming style format. And at the culmination of the 3rd month, so we've got 3 big experiments that will run one after the other. You'll get to vote as a community on which rewards format you prefer. And if a follow-up proposal passes to continue our pilot for an additional 3 months, we will reward the second pilot with the winning format kind of all the way through. And then the final thing I want to say before I, hopefully, we can open this up for some questions. But before I get there, just backing up, we're here because we really strongly believe that you deserve to be rewarded for your contributions to Aavegotchi DAO and frankly, to the greater Web3 community. And when that happens, the impact is going to be greater value for all of us. And we're super grateful to have the opportunity to potentially serve the Aavegotchi community. And again, Senate is here literally beside me, next to me. And my 1-year-old is here too. And we would love to answer any questions that you have, either now or just reach out to us afterward, and we got your back too.
Yeah, I see some excitement in the chat. People saying they are really excited for a contribution style rarity farming, and there have been definitely people that have perked up in the last couple weeks that have been steady contributors, and I haven't seen these people get recognized before for their efforts. So this is going to be, I hope we can get everybody included. And considering this does pass, what are some of the first steps that our DAO would kind of take? Like, what is the first couple steps in your process when you're first establishing yourselves in a community like Aavegotchi?
Yeah, great question. So the first step would be to bring together an advisory board. And the advisory board is going to be responsible for three things. The first is to choose the ways in which people are contributing that should be rewarded. The second is to choose the validation mechanisms connected to that. So how do we know that that actually happened? And how do we know in a way that protects against bots and bad actors? And the third is to choose the amount of rewards that people get for those rewards. And the way that they make that decision is based on lots of feedback from the community. And then going forward, after we get going, it's also based on data. And so the board gets together every week and looks at the data and gets feedback from the community and revises. And the way that the Aavegotchi DAO community chose to put together a board is that based on a lot of conversations, there were 6 pillars that reflected sort of everybody in the DAO, that did a good job sort of showing off what we think is a representation of the big groups in the DAO. And so we'll have one person from each pillar who will be elected to the board. And then there will be one at-large member who's elected. And assuming that this is a hit, I believe strongly that it will be. Like, we're not going to make a small amount of impact here. Like this, what we're going for is something really big. Assuming that this goes longer than 3 months and 6 months, the board would then get reelected by the community, or new board members would come on every 6 months. So first we get that board together. The board would determine sort of the ways to contribute that we would have available at launch. And then within a month, we'd be launching. And, at that point, it's off to the races. And, hopefully impact should come quickly in both Bankless DAO and ApeCoin within weeks. On community calls like this, we were hearing testimonials, and we still are after testimonials, of people who wanted to contribute but didn't know how, and couldn't, and people who had been contributing but never felt like they were seen or heard or valued much by the DAO. And immediately we can kind of change that sentiment and get a feeling of momentum and excitement going. And I expect to see that soon after we launched, and that should only build from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I have my own ideas of how we could. There's so many ways that we could reward people that are not getting rewarded, but also take people who are already getting compensated, like myself. And even I could even see a pathway where we could decentralize, hosting these meetings a little bit. It might be,
Yes.
It might take a few steps. Like, we'll have to make sure we vet the right members and, make sure that they know how to host a meeting, that they're comfortable with it, and kind of take them through the process. But I would love to have even what I'm doing today, and, coming up here, waking up early Sunday morning, coming here with the notes ready, doing the meeting, and getting paid for it. I just want everyone to know that I'm also thinking on the same wavelength as you guys. And that's something we can actually gradually work towards, is having other DAO call hosts. I shouldn't have to be the only one. And I'm happy to be the only one, but also I think it's nice to take a Sunday off once in a while, and so DAO burnout's real, man. I mean, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes to kind of get ready for a call like this than people often see. And so I'd like to give others the opportunity to experience that, because I think what I'm doing is a really valuable experience in the DAO space, and I don't think I should be honestly the only one to benefit from it. We can all share it together, and I think that's something we can work towards. So there's definitely initiatives out there that we want to roll into ThriveCoin that I'm already looking at, being like, this would be really helpful, really beneficial. So
Yeah, I really appreciate that sentiment. And, there's so much work that goes into the DAO, whether we're talking about hosting meetings like this, or whether we're talking about so much stuff that people do that's unseen, but contributes to the health of the community, right? And not only are we going to have the opportunity to thank that, right? Thank Aavegotchi and to reward that. But the other fun thing is that we'll be able to put that on chain. So every single contribution that people make is not just rewarded with Ghost, it's rewarded with a thank you note that lives on chain, and that people can see and becomes a part of sort of your reputation, right? And that intrinsic motivation piece, like just knowing that you're seen, is a really big deal. And for what it's worth, we absolutely can support hosting calls in Discord. We can reward that in an automated way that goes on chain. Speaking in calls in Discord, similar on Twitter Spaces, even attending. We can really start to have people realize that the contributions that you're making to this DAO are seen, they're heard, they're valued, and we can start orienting them to the creation of real utility, real efficiency, real value that hopefully will support a thriving DAO for the future.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, definitely. How long do we have on this proposal here before we wrap up? I think we still have till tomorrow. I have about 12-ish hours, maybe a little bit more than that, 24 hours.
Yeah.
So go on and vote on the ThriveCoin proposal, and it's definitely a step forward in the right direction for the DAO.
We have one more day, and I love that Floor Sweeper said amen at Senate.eth. So I'm Daniel Thrive Giraffe, but I love being Senate for a day. So it makes me very, very happy.
I would have probably said something at least adjacent to that. It's truly an amazing experience, and as you start building the sort of baseline infrastructure, we can sort of really close our eyes and sort of think about a future of DAOs and how this could look like if we start with simple things such as rewarding people and recognizing them for what they do, and where we are a few years from now, who knows? But we should collaborate. That's definitely what, at least what I see. So yeah, excited to see that the community here shares the sentiment too, and yeah, no, super excited about what's ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimate test for whether a project is GMI or not GMI is whether they have a Dan on the team. So you guys definitely get Coder Dan's vote.
Honestly, it's almost a meme at this point to me.
Thank you, Dan. It really means a lot to have your support, and big fans of Pixelcraft, and a pleasure to be part of the community. And now that I have my Gotchi, I can call myself a native and walk the walk, not just talk the talk. So yeah, let's go.
Nice. Yeah, this is all good to hear. I was gonna, next up after this, I was gonna touch on DAO Lens, but I think those folks had also mentioned they know you guys from ETH Denver or DAO Denver, the City DAO conference.
Yeah, we really like them a lot. We're going to be partnering and integrating with them. We've already had a couple conversations about it, and that's pretty exciting. And we believe very much in the work that they're doing with AI and with trying to get a more efficient view of what's going on in the governance process. So very, very cool, guys.
Oh man, I'm so excited you guys are working on integrations with DAO Lens, because that is the other group we're working with here on the governance side, is to, this kind of ties in with what I was saying with decentralizing the hosting of the meetings and stuff, is to have a powerful AI tool to help you summarize conversations, to help you compare posts, to help you to be your DAO co-pilot, and so that you're not left alone trying to host this meeting. You actually have like a co-pilot to help you, run an effective meeting. Also having the documentation in the same place, having the governance dashboard, like the snapshot, alongside the Discord and the discourse, all in one platform, is really amazing. And so that's the second initiative I'd like to see the DAO support. We'll be putting together a proposal with the DAO Lens folks here in the coming weeks. I'm still talking to their team, but they'll come up here, they'll give a little bit of a presentation, and we'll get a proposal going for that as well, because I do think they have some really great value to offer there on the governance side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad they're going through this process as well with the DAO. I believe in them and believe they can be supportive.
Absolutely. So just segueing into that, what I would like to do is just take a quick minute and invite some of our members in here onto the Aavegotchi DAO lens. And so this is a member invite link. Let me know if it actually works multiple times. This one should work multiple times, but you basically click through that. You'll get a invite to Aavegotchi DAO lens after you create your profile. So you go on there, you create a quick profile. It's kind of like any kind of other kind of social media profile that you could have, and then you can join a community. You can search for Aavegotchi, or this link might just take you there, and then you can join Aavegotchi DAO, and we'll kind of get that going in the coming weeks. Let's follow up some comments here real quick, but I don't have anything really pressing for the rest of the meeting here. We've covered some big points. If Awkward AI, if you would like to come up and speak, you can, but I think we have tabled the main discussion for next week, so we could just follow up there next week. But I encourage y'all to join us on DAO Lens. Where do DAO Lens profiles live? Musashi, that's a good question. I can. Why don't you DM me, and I can reach out to the team and get that information for you. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Coder Dan, Senate, Thrive Giraffe. You guys got anything else here? Otherwise, I think we'll actually end off the call a little early today, if we don't have anything pressing left to discuss.
I got a little announcement on behalf of Immaterial Mark about the Gotchi the Alchemica spending contest on Gotchi board. So if you guys go to the latest announcement, you'll see that the contest is going to be starting. This is a DAO funded contest. It's going to be starting in about 9 hours from now or so. So the DAO voted to hold this contest. Yeah, really excited about it. And the new kind of element this time is that proto-licks and potions are going to be included as well, as long as you use them. You can't just buy it and not spend it. You got to buy it and use it. But if you do use it, that will count towards your spending for the contest. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's huge. So guilds out there, if you're hosting your events this week, is it just for the V2 proto-licks or any
of them? But
okay.
there is an item. There's like a cap on how many there are. So the V1s might go pretty quickly, but the V2s might be a little bit. You might be able to get those a little bit easier. And you guys are talking about the tile. We did show a tile yesterday, and that will be coming out at some point during the competition. Maybe a couple others as well.
I'm gonna get that tile printed on a bag and have like my Gotchi Vuitton print bag. I love that pattern.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Okay, I'm just gonna try something here real quick.
Sorry, yeah, Material shared the link there. Everyone go there, and the key point of the contest is, so each round has a multiplier. Each round has the multipliers start really high at the beginning. So Monday has a 1.6 multiplier, and then it goes to 1.5, 1.4, 1.3, all the way down to 1x on Sunday, which is the last day of each round. So if you want to max out your score, you need to basically go the hardest on the first day. But if you want to catch up, you're gonna have to spend more on the days like Saturday and Sunday. And the other bonus is every round has a different token multiplier. So round 1 has a 2x multiplier on FUD. Round 2 is a multiplier on FOMO. Round 3 is a 2x multiplier on alpha, and round 4 is a 2x multiplier on keck. So that's also going to throw a wrench in some things as well. It should be pretty interesting to watch.
Ooh. Yeah, those multipliers on the Alchemica, that was a really great idea.
Yeah. Big brain immaterial Mark coming up with those fire ideas.
Well, and I appreciate the effort behind like gamifying it and like opening it up to other people, because that was like a concern, not a concern, but some feedback from the last round. It's like, I wish we could have other ways for other people to get involved, and I'm glad he listened. I'm glad he listened to that feedback. I'm personally actually stoked for this this spending competition. I wasn't for the last one.
Yeah.
So.
And everyone go, he's also got Gotchi Battler, which is a cool thing he's working on. Everyone go check that out. Maybe Mark, you can drop the link to that as well. He's working on kind of another way to kind of a new way to envision protocol rewards.
Is that the future of protocol rewards thread?
No, it's here. He just dropped it here. Gotchi Battler.
Oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
It's an auto battler game where you basically having powerful items gives you an advantage. So it's similar in a way to rarity farming, but it's more gamified, like the current rarity farming meta that we have. It's a bit more gamified than that.
I saw did you guys watch the trailer for that? He has a pretty cool trailer that he put together for the Gotchi Battler. Maybe someone can drop the link. Yeah, if you go to that thread, he has it up there at the top.
Sir Linky is talking to the raffle. Nice. Yeah, here we go. This trailer's fire.
Yeah, it's pretty fire.
So I know he's actually working on this game now, and is also possibly looking for a dev as well, right? So if any devs listening are interested in working on Solidity, a front end with Mark, feel free to hit him up. Yeah, that's all I got. We are, like I said earlier, we're working on some big ideas and getting some feedback on them, but we want to present them to the community pretty soon, early May. So hopefully next week I'll have something to share with you guys.
Oh, awesome!
Can't promise yet, but we're trying to. We got some really cool stuff that we're working on, and I want to share with everyone, get feedback before we go to SIGPROP with it.
Yeah, that's great. Looking forward to that. And so appreciate everybody hanging out here. 38, 40 people on the Sunday DAO call. We will see you tomorrow for the ThriveCoin call at 9:30 Pacific Standard. So around noon Eastern, right?
Yeah, we're super excited to see you. So talk to you then.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, sounds like everyone's excited over there. That's awesome. Looking forward to it. We'll see y'all tomorrow, friends. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week.
Have a great Sunday. Later.
Later, friends. Peace.